Now look, I know from the title of this video, you gotta know how in the world I'm turning some 2x4s into $600. A 2x4 like this, which of course, don't get me wrong, is cut down for size, and some buckets. What can we turn that into? Let me show you. She got some weight to her. We call this one the 3-bucket planter. 1, 2, 3 buckets, and you put some plants in them, which makes it a 3-bucket planter. Let me take this down and we'll talk a little bit more. Now let me sit here and tell you something real quick. I was scrolling Facebook Marketplace the other night, as you know most men do. You just scroll on Facebook Marketplace looking for stuff you buy that you don't really need. And I came across this listing. Take it in. What you see there is $600 that this person was trying to sell that for. Now, I had to message them because I felt like that was absolutely crazy. A couple 2x4s and some buckets, talking, 20 bucks, 40 bucks worth of material, somehow into $600. And I'm thinking to myself, I got a whole wood shop downstairs. I can make it myself and save myself 600 buckarooskies. So that's what I did, and I'm gonna teach you guys how to do it. So let me go ahead and show you guys how to make this here beautiful 3-bucket planter. Now let's talk about the tools and materials you're gonna need for this project. It is a very, very simple project, so not many tools are needed. So I'm using a impact. You can use a drill or whatever it is you can use to screw in your fasteners. 4 fasteners, I'm using 2.5-inch wood screws. You need a tape measure, a square, wood glue, Tight Bond 3 Ultimate Wood Glue. Reason being, this is some of the best wood glue you can use for outdoors, as far as from the Tight Bond at least. Then you're gonna need some form of cutting the wood. You're gonna see me use my miter saw back here, just because that's the fastest and most efficient way of doing it. But you can use a circular saw, a skill saw. If you really want to, you can even use a hand saw, because it's all 90-degree cuts. Now, your arm might be hurting a little bit afterwards, but if you really want to, you can get it done. You're also going to need 5 2x4s. These are 2x4x8s, and as you can tell, these are just normal pine wood studs. Now, you can go with treated if you want to, especially if you're going to leave this outdoors, which I figure most people are going to do. But I plan on painting this with some outdoor paint by the time it gets done, just to make it look a little bit pretty. But to each their own, whichever one you want to go with. If you want to go with treated, or if you want to go with your just normal wood studs, I like working with normal wood studs more than I do treated. So that's why I'm going that route, and I'm going to paint it afterwards. We can get started by making our cuts. It's only a few different sizes that you need. You're going to need 4 24-inch boards, 4 45-inch boards, 4 14-inch boards, and then 6 17-inch boards. And that makes up this entire project. So I'm going to go ahead, throw in a little time lapse of me making these cuts on this miter saw, and then after that we'll get to assembly. All right, now you can see that we have all of our boards cut just like we need. If you follow the cut list that's in the plans, these are all the scraps that you're gonna have. So really, you're not getting too much waste at all out of this project. You got one piece that's a little over 30 inches long that you could always do something with later on, throw in a pile, and these can just go in the burn pile. So good project, not wasting a lot of wood. I'm gonna show you just how easy this is to assemble. All we need is the impact, screws, and that's it. Now I am going to countersink my screws into this just because I think it looks a little bit better, but it's not 100% necessary. So now that I have a big flat surface here, we're gonna go ahead and get started assembling this thing. It is so easy. All right, so we're gonna get started with our 4 14-inch boards and our 4 45-inch boards. Basically, we're just making 2 big frames. That's it. I'll show you just how easy this is. I'm gonna take 2 of my 45-inch boards, put them off to the side. 2 of my 14-inch boards, put them off to the side. We're gonna build 1 frame at a time. Now these 14-inch boards are gonna go here in the inside, just like that. You can kind of get a picture of what's happening here. So I'm gonna put glue on the ends that I'm gluing onto. Now I'm just going to make sure that they're lined up as flush as possible. And I'm going to go ahead and send in a pilot hole. Now I got one. Take a screw. And do the same thing with the bottom. Now we'll take our other 14-inch board and do the same thing on the other side. Now that I got one frame done, I'm going to go ahead and knock out the same exact thing, but this is going to be the one that goes on the top. Let's go ahead and knock that out. All right, now that we have both of our frames done, we're basically halfway complete at this point. So next step, we're going to take one and we're going to attach the legs to it. So this here is going to make up our top rim, but since I have a flat surface to work on, I'm going to go ahead and just put my board in just like this. Make sure I'm butted up on the corner here real tight and put a couple screws in. By the way, if you want a countersink bit like this, I'll leave a link down in the description to get one. They're super, super cheap and work pretty good. If you get them heated up too much, they will snap, but for the price, they're very, very good. So you can kind of start to get an idea of how this is going to go together. So we're going to put basically a floor here for the buckets to sit on. So what I want to do is measure from the top of the legs and go down 15.5 inches and make a mark. And I'm going to do that on all 4 legs. I'm going to take my square and I'm going to go ahead and mark a line right across where that mark is. All right, so now that I have all of my lines marked, we're going to take our next frame and push it up to this line. Now this line is going to reach the top of the next frame. So the top up here will line up here. You'll see just what I'm talking about in a second. Now, I'm going to be honest, this part could be a little bit easier with another set of hands, or if you have some clamps, grab those and that'll help you out. That's what you're going to see me use here. Now that I have some clamps holding up this side, I'm going to go ahead and put screws in it, and then she's good to go. All right, now that we have all that put together, we're going to take our 17-inch pieces, and these are going to make up the floor. So I made the gaps between these boards almost exactly 2 inches. So what you can do is you take your longer scrap piece that you have, we'll go ahead and call this the subscribe board. Which, speaking of which, if you feel like you're learning something and you like what you're seeing, go ahead and subscribe for me. Like the channel while you're at it and share it to your family and friends so they can build something for their garden too. Anyways, let's cut off a 2-inch chunk on this longer board that we have so we can get 2 pieces like this. So we'll get 2 2-inch pieces. And then what you can do is you would put them on the end of each board here and butt it up against it. That way you have an even 2-inch spacing across the entire project here. Super easy. Let's go ahead and screw all these down. Just like that, she's completed. I mean, it's a very, very easy project, and I think this thing looks pretty sweet. Only thing we got left to do is throw some buckets in here. I got my trusty, dusty Lowe's buckets. Just like that, you got yourself 3 perfect little planters. Now, I mean, for me, I'd probably put tomatoes in this because that'd be perfect to have 3 tomato plants right here, and then you could build a trellis off the back if you wanted to. But there's tons of ideas, tons of options you could do to add to your garden, or if you want to sell these puppies, this is something that'll sell pretty easily. I mean, you could easily get 50 to 70 bucks a piece, if not more than that. You know, it just depends on your area and, you know, what the economy looks like where you're at. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like on this video. And as always, get in your shop, build something, and stay salty.